All right. This is a lot harder than it looks, folks. I'm desperately trying to do a show that it starts at a right time so that I can start to actually have people come in and watch, talk to me, and interact with me. You do a live stream. The professional way to do it, of course, is to live stream same time each day. One of my favorite live streamers, the guy who made Dilbert, Scott Adams, he did such a great job. He did it every day, even Sundays. I don't know how he did it, but he would start it on time and go over the news. And this show is kind of built upon that. So nobody's in here yet. Nobody's ever crawled into my live stream, which is fine. Somebody will at some point. It'll be great. Can't wait. So we got news today, and I kind of getting rid of the music at the beginning. I'm just going to do a little intro and just start to ask people to show up instead of listening to funky music, which I always like the music. I don't know if you're here in Traverse City. It took me an extra 15 minutes to get into work today, which is fascinating because it only takes 2 minutes to get to work. They closed off Front Street by Fair Street, which is, you guys don't know, that's like 2 blocks from my house. And then all the traffic for that was pushed down to 8th Street, which is the road I take to get to work. And at the same time, the other road that goes across town, South Airport, which handles 90% of the traffic. I guess there's something broken there too, and that's closed. So there's not a lot of traffic moving around town, east and west. I did have a bunch of people driving through my neighborhood, which is pretty unusual. I think they didn't bother to read the sign that said the road's closed. So instead of like going the right way, I tried to go around and ended up in my neighborhood. And so then that was fun because I couldn't get my car turned around because of all the cars coming through. The problems of, this only happens in the summer. Wintertime comes, you can't get through because of the snow, which is actually probably easier to deal with than having broken roads that you can't travel over. All right. Everybody who's going to be here is here. Okay, fine. Oh yeah, it's still nobody. That's okay. We're going to build this. It's going to be fun. This is going to be the best darn news show anybody's ever seen when it comes to small business news, stuff that affects your business. Let's start off our show with our salute to our small business owners. We thank you. Everybody else can salute too when you watch this show. I know when Scott Adams used to do the simultaneous sip, I would watch his shows days later. I never watched it live. I just don't. I don't care about live. I'll just watch the recording. I would still do the simultaneous sip. So you should do the salute with me and join us in the daily, weekly for us, in the weekly salute and love fest that we have for our small business owners. Our first news item. So we're going to talk a little bit about AI today, but actually quite a bit. I don't know if you guys know this, but this show is 90% put together using AI. And it's what has allowed me to be able to do this show. I can't afford to hire people to do all the editing and post all the stuff and create all of the titles and all that stuff. And I don't have the time to do it. I've got customers to take care of. But the AIs have made this show possible. So let's talk about it. I've got a new way you can use an AI that you've never even dreamed of. And it comes straight from this first news article. The headline is Why Your Digital Tools Aren't Paying Off and How to Fix That. Now, I've got a different way to fix that than what the article was written says you need to do. My way is way better. That's right, way better. Let's dig into this a little bit. A new analysis from Dev Discourse finds that many small U.S. businesses are spending real money on digital tools. This includes project management software, scheduling platforms, CRMs, but failing to see measurable growth as a result. Well, I will say this. I have failed to see measurable growth as a result as well. It's really hard to grow. The core findings that The problem is almost never the technology, and this is true. The technology almost always does exactly what it says it's going to do, but it's an execution. Yes, that's how it works. So in my business, we have a lot of tools. We use a lot of tools to do a lot of things. From what the tool that we use to manage all of our customer relationships, which is actually this tool that this is I actually built this. So our CRM is in-house built. To our automation services, so like our billing, they're called professional services automation. PSAs is what our industry calls them. That piece of technology is huge. It does so many things, and almost never does the vendor who sells you these tools, almost never do they train you on how to use them correctly. That's huge. So yeah, you buy the tool. Tool does great stuff, but it's up to you to figure out how to use it. And they're super complicated and they're not intuitive and blah blah blah. There's a lot going on. So what do we do? How do we fix this? What is this magical fix that the article writer has pushed out? I don't know. I don't care, because here's what I've done, and this is going to work for you. If you have a tool and if you're using it and you look at it and you go, I am not getting everything I want out of this tool, the easiest and best thing to do is to grab an AI, any AI, tell it what tool you're using, tell it how you're using it, and go, what else can I do? And it will show you all the ways that you can leverage that tool better, more, how things you can do with it that you aren't doing today. And then this is the best part, because the vendors never do this. It will show you how to do it. The AI will just walk you through how to do it. Now, what I do is I will tell the AI, you're an expert in this tool, and you're also an expert in the industry, or so like you're an SEO expert if we're going to using an SEO tool. You're an IT managed IT service provider expert. You know everything there is to know about managed IT services. Or like from in my world, I created what is known as an ITIL expert. So ITIL is a standard for providing IT services to people. And so I made an ITIL expert, and then I had it walk me through redoing everything in my professional service automation so that we're ITIL based and we're using those standards. And it's been amazing, just absolutely brilliant. It was I have more insights into my business now than I've ever had, and I can present numbers better to my customers about what we're doing and what this work is for. You know, what problems it's solving, how what part of the is it a security problem? Is it an end user problem? Is it a management or we'll call maintenance problem? And now the customers can look at that and go, "Oh wow, yeah, we're spending of our spend, 60% of it is going towards maintaining our network so that we don't have problems." And for years, that numbers was hard for me to get, if not impossible. So if you got software and if you want to leverage it better, go to an AI. It's it's the way to go. Um, I want to also plug. We've got our managed intelligence provider service. If you're afraid of AIs, or if you're hearing about things that you with AIs that you think you could do, but you just don't have the skills, or you don't have the time, or you just don't understand it, we have a service for that. We do AI workshops where we go look through where AI is in your business and where it's causing issues or where it could potentially cause issues. And then we also have a managed AI um, service where we can create agents, create workflow automations, and we can do all that for you. And we're very excited to start doing that because we've done it so well inside of ACS. I basically have produced a AI based service coordinator that just around the edges of all the little things that can go wrong. It's that eye watching all that and nudging, and so that services keep moving forward, that we don't miss service expectations. It's been brilliant. We can do that for your business. So yeah, you have the tools, you want to use them better, we got ways, and AIs can help. All right, that's our first news item. Hope that helps. Next news item: new insurer built specifically for service businesses is coming. This is a funny. The AI wrote that, right? And it's actually not true. So there's a new insurance company, that's for sure. It's called Corgi, named after the dog. And these guys focused on insuring AI startups. And I went to their website and I verified this is true. Well, I think what they've done is they've basically gone and used all these fancy new tools to get their business to a point where now they can just insure anybody super quickly, easily. And they're doing dry cleaners and salons. I mean, to jump from, venture angel capital AI companies to a dry cleaner, come on. So why is this story interesting to me? Well, well, not that we have any dry cleaners that we work with, but we got a lot of service companies, and Corgi might be good for you. I don't know. I'd rather you call a local insurance company, although there are no local insurance company that insures companies like mine. We have to go to these weird, very nichey insurance companies for our errors and omissions and our, our primary coverage for if we screw up. Um, what interests me most about this is how a company that was so unique, niche AI, was able to grow out of that super niche. And I can guarantee you they're using their own company that they insures tools to do that. You don't just start insuring uh, dry cleaners and salons without having some very tight information on how dry cleaners and salons work, you know, what risks they have. So I'm betting that they're using the AI tools at their disposal, and if I had to also guess, they've brought the cost down from servicing these weird service industries through automations, through AIs, through not having hired a bunch of new insurance reps and back office people, but by putting it all behind intelligent workflows, phone systems that answer itself, and has something that's enjoyable enough, and then they can drop the cost, and now they're going to be super competitive. So I looked at the Corgi website. They won't insure me, even though the news article made it sound like they were. They don't do I managed IT companies, but they do AI launch companies, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I don't necessarily think you should call this Corgi company. I don't. This isn't a where I'm not selling their services or anything. This isn't a commercial for them. But I do think that if you want to leverage AI to get into different markets where potentially maybe you've got a premium service where you do very high end. This is kind of how we function, right? Premium service, we we answer the phones with human beings, and we only really want to have customers that appreciate that. But there's a lot of companies out there that don't want that, don't need that. And I'm seriously looking at how I can just start to serve those customers and do it from a fully automated perspective. And you could do that too with AI, managed AI from us. That would help. You can start to get workflows that allow you to service different industries at a lower cost, thus being able to make money off of stuff that normally you wouldn't be able to because you don't necessarily want your best people working at that price. We can help you with that. So that's the Corgi story. All right, moving right along. Show's clicking away. Third article, big article, is our first, scary IT guy article. So if you're using a piece of software called Papercut NG and MF, and these are print management platforms. So we don't use it. I would not, hopefully none of my customers are trying to use it because it would require us. But if you are, um, it's got a vulnerability. Let's see what it is. Oh wait, hey, this is their first or second vulnerability since 2023. This last one has affected thousands of organizations globally. So these guys are not what you would call super secure. Let's see, shipping labels, job tickets, compromised print servers. Affected over 70,000 organizations. That's for 2023. So yeah, if you've got that, this article doesn't really tell us what we're going to do about it, but you should talk to your IT provider. You should talk to your paper cut vendor relationship people and get that patched and get that fix in there as soon as possible, because we don't want to see anybody. You know, I would say that this is a funny thing. Manufacturers use printers. So if you're a manufacturer, I guarantee you're printing stuff. They all do, from the shipping department to work in process documents. Just for whatever reason, they like to print stuff. And if you got this software, I don't want to see you guys get hit. Something terrible, especially if you're doing Department of War work. Don't do that. Don't let this little problem linger. Let's get out and get it fixed, get it patched. If you need help with that, give us a call. All right, quick hits. The ATF, our alcohol, tobacco, and firearms people, got hacked. So yeah, the government gets hacked. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise. Even the federal agencies and regulated industries aren't immune to. So yeah, you want to, stay on top of that. It's always to me an interesting discussion of, we're a small business, we have limited resources. This security stuff is expensive and hard. How are we supposed to do it? Well, ACS does a good job. We've had a great track record. That's how you do it. If the federal government, with all of its trillions of dollars in budget, can't be protected, how are we supposed to? Well, we do our best. We do a good job of it. Next quick hit, the Android Quick Share. So if you're using Android products and you want to easily and quickly share files between your Android devices, it's a new app built into Android. It's for you don't need cables or any of that, probably Bluetooth, and for just passing files around. So look for that on your Android phone, tablet. I know there's Android computers out there, I believe. What do they call those? Whatever. So yeah, keep you up on the all news for everything, even Android, which I have never actually owned an Android. Well, I have. I've owned one and I hated it. Probably because I got Apple from the very first iPhone. Out of the box, straight up, very first. It was life-changing. It was very strange to have a true computer with a web browser in your pocket back in, what was that, 2007, 2008. Good times. Very good. Now I hate them. I wish they would all go away, but hate's a strong word. We all know the problems with these technologies. They drive us crazy. All right. 18-minute show. That's a new record. Hopefully my CRM can handle this big old bunch of content. As far as I can tell, nobody joined. Maybe I should start to push reminders out to folks through my social media. Come join us. People probably will. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a great week. I just got back from yesterday's Tiger game. Pathetic. 2 hits. Tigers had 2 hits. They lost 3-0. They didn't seem to be all that thrilled or enthused. They didn't care. Too bad. I wish they tried harder. But we had a box, had all my nephews and nieces. That was fantastic. My brothers. Couldn't ask for anything more than that. All right, guys. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week and a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.